Thank you, Deputy Minor.
And why we're bringing this debate, this topical issue before the Dáil today is that over the last number of weeks, the Minister for Social Protection has issued a letter to all pensioners, to all pensioners is what I have seen, telling them, encouraging them to use the banks for their direct debit, to send the money to the banks rather than through the post offices. That letter has been issued by the government, by the Minister for Social Protection. This time last year, before the local elections, there was an announcement by the Minister, Pat Rabbitte, to say that there was a whole-of-government approach to the future of post offices. And in February of this year, some 9 or 10 months later, they announced that there was going to be a review of it, and that was what happened in that 9 or 10 months. It was just to get them over the local and European elections. But whatever the election cycle is, a letter has been issued from the Department of Social Protection to the pensioners, advising them or encouraging them, those that are in payment and are in payment with a long number of years, to encourage them to put their money to have a direct debit into the banks rather than through the post offices. This is in direct contradiction to what the Taoiseach has said on the floor of the Dáil and what the government has said and the Minister has said to me on numerous occasions across the floor of the House. So what I want to ask is, how come a government department sanctioned that letter to go out, which is in total contradiction to what has been said by ministers and government and Taoiseach across the floor of the House? And if they continue to pursue that policy, it will mean that all the post offices in this country will close. And I think what they should be doing is that they should be looking at An Post and seeing how An Post needs to change in terms of making sure that that transaction can happen to the post offices the very same as the banks. But bear in mind, if the Minister for Social Protection continues to pursue sending out letters to social welfare recipients to encourage them to use the banks, well then that's the end of the post office network.
Thank you, Deputy Minister. You have phone.
I have a script here. I'm not going to use it. I was as surprised to see that letter, seen copies of these letters. And it's important to point out that there is a working group set up under the stewardship of Bobby Kerr. When I got a copy of this letter, the first person I was going to go to was that working group, because there's representation from Postmasters Union and all the different stakeholders that have an interest in pulling together a plan, basically, to talk about the long-term sustainability and viability of post offices. And within that group, progress has been made, good work has been done. There's a good, open and honest conversation. I'm not privy to say what the outcomes at this early stage or this juncture is going to be, because there will be a report shortly on the actions of the group. And government has made a decision to proactively work together cross-departmentally to look at how we collectively can work together in all departments, be it the Department of Agriculture, Department of Social Protection, or any other department that can lend its weight to the sustainability and the viability of post offices. I sit on the working group. I take this very seriously, and I think it's important to point out that while the script will say that this was a trial, as far as I'm concerned, every government department has to be on the same wavelength as what the interdepartmental decision was to ensure the long-term sustainability and viability of post offices. And if it's a post office on, as I said here a few weeks ago, and Deputy Moynihan was here, a post office in Tory Island, where on a Friday it's the only day where people meet, or where there's a post office in any other rural area where it is an opportunity for people to meet, we are working towards that, and government is working towards that. And what I would like to say in relation to the issues raised by the deputies, you raised important issues. I've taken it seriously. It's been raised already at the working group. It's been taken seriously at that level. And I think the message today has to go back to feed in to the government decision that each department is on the same wavelength in terms of long-term sustainability. And be that banking in post office as an option. I mean, we can be critical of what happened with these letters, but it wasn't suggestion for people to change to post office. It wasn't mandatory. It wasn't prescriptive. But yes, it was information, and it's in black and white, and I accept that. I think at this juncture of the working group, it's important that this was raised at this juncture, and it's important to point out that each department has to be on the same wavelength in relation to where we're going to. We're taking it serious. The government's taking it serious, and it's important that we continue in that vein.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy McGrath.
Go to Carol Frigra. And I do believe that you are from rural Ireland and you do understand. But if it wasn't intention in that letter, why was it sent? And why were the people told sent back by free post? Do you know when it goes back by free post, Minister, that the postmisters or the postmaster get nothing for it? It's a concerted attack on the post offices. And this report that you're looking at and talking about, I welcome it. But it's social welfare and reined in and restrained. And their policy document and policy statement of 2013 which said that they want to have all transactions done by except with the exception of 3% by 2015, by transactions. That's the death knell for post offices. That's the death knell for rural Ireland and the social aspect that you're talking about there that we all know about. So there's subterfuge going on here, and there's deceit and there's deception. I'm not saying you're involved in it, but it's by department officials and whoever. And the Taoiseach can announce yesterday in Blaze of Glory that he's going to send all his ministers and TDs out to visit small business in rural Ireland to see what can we do. And we can't discriminate in our new constitution, discriminate against self-employed. We're discriminating against the self-employed postmisters and postmasters who do Trojan work and give employment, pay rates, pay taxes and look after the people. And unless this chronology is dealt with, we'll have no post office minister. We want a single swoop, but that's implemented. They're gone. So the letter shouldn't have been sent out. There should be apologies sent out. And the biggest insult then is to send back by free post to ensure that the postmasters and postmasters don't get a cent from it.
Thank you,
it's
Deputy
undermining and it's closure by stealth.
Thank you.
And we have to be very, very brusty on situation.
Deputy Moynihan.
Yeah, thank you for going off script, and I hope that the script that was given to you by the department, either social protection or communications, is not going to go into the record of the House, because there's one line that's deeply offensive. The letters issued as part of a small trial to determine the best means of communication with people about their payment options. That is not correct. That was basically telling people to go to the banks because we want to get rid of the post offices. And the point I would want to make, the one question I've asked, have those letters stopped now as part of the working group? Is there a decision made to stop those letters going out? And will there be no further attempt by any department, by social protection or any other department, to undermine the post offices in the way this letter sought to undermine?
Minister.
Yeah, look, as I said, there was nobody more disappointed than me when I saw the letter. There's good work going on in the working group, and you know the meetings are long. People are putting a lot of time into it, and I think maybe sometimes when something like this happens, it helps to keep the focus on a thing. And hopefully, by you raising this today publicly, and me trying to be as honest and upfront, and not just giving a standard reply for the sake of it, because as somebody who lives in rural Ireland, somebody who's from a parish where I know that the lifeblood of a community on a Friday or any other day of the week for that matter is for people to come in. And the post office network themselves, they know that they're going to have to change with times as well. And if it means, and there are opportunities there for banking in post offices, and I think that's where the conversation's going. And I will ensure as well that your observations and contributions today are fed into the working group and the concerns that you've raised. And I can ask that as well. Yeah. Okay, I'll certainly bring that message back. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Minister, and thank you.